them on the T side of Nuke after winning Pistol. They also won the second half Pistol, but once the gun round started going on the T side of Nuke for Rooster, they were starting to look like the better team. They just had no room to work with and no room for error. So as soon as they lost one round, that was it. So I think, look, if we see two more even halves, you might see Rooster come away with the dub here, and that's probably what's to be expected. But I'm willing to give Arcade the benefit of the doubt. They've well and truly earned that.
All right, well, let's see if they can manage to put it together here as well. Already not a bad setup by the looks of things from Arcade. If this A hit ends up coming into play, you already have 4 players over there. Just Void over on B, and obviously he'll be on his way over, but as here on Foggers, who will set himself up for the fight. Danger's going to go down early, and that allows Foggers to take Palace. So it's a real spanner in the works for Rooster. Relying maybe now on Chell and ASAP to find the pick coming in from jungle to open this one back up. But do they even want to commit that bomb over toward A? It looks like they do, and that's going to be a mistake. Triplus and Super will make short work of the entry. ASAP's been spotted out as well. He'll try to force the fight onto Void, who does end up giving up his life. Triplus is going to stick around for the fight as well, but hits his shot, and so that'll be that. And another pistol round for Arcade.
Yeah, 3 from 3. Won all the pistols so far this series. So doing a really, really good job starting the halves off well and trying to roll through with that momentum. And once again, with Rooster on the T side, they do not get the bomb plant and cannot force round 2 and keep that economic pressure on the CT side.
It continues to go in the wrong direction for Rooster. And I guess the thing is, if you're going to see Arcade get the 2-0 tonight, this is be the way to go about it. Solid win on map 1, win the pistol on map 2, get off to a good start on the CT side, nice economic bonus as a result. So it's at this point just about making sure that they get through this round without losing any guns, ideally, because you've got 5 rifles, so there's nothing really that you'd be like, alright, well, we're okay to lose that one. Want to be making sure every single gun goes through.
Creeping back towards ramp side. The majority of Rooster is ASAP pressuring top middle. Off angle from Foggers. Never going to be checked on top of the fireboxes here, and it's a very easy spray down for him. Could be an ace anti-eco here. Which, you know what? Oh, he goes down, unfortunately, before he can get the ace. So, 1 rifle dropped. See if the upgrade comes into one of these Famous players. Apparently not. I don't think anyone was in position from the Famous users to get that rifle. But I think over at the local LAN, I watched Foggers drop a 30 on this map, I'm pretty sure. He had an insane game on Mirage, if I remember correctly, which was one of the only maps I was casting. I'll double check. Let's have a look at his last few. It was against the Art of War.
Want to see him do it again?
Yeah, on Mirage, he dropped 20. He went 26 and 12 against the Art of War, 130 ADR plus 14, almost a 2 rating. He was kind of farming on this map.
Well, I reckon a 26 and 12 would probably be enough to get over the line today against Rooster as well. Bit of mid-control attempted here by both teams. You got the smoke at the bottom of Con coming through from Arcade. Progression and window smoke for Rooster. And ultimately, it ends up being Rooster who will hold that control for now. But a good call from Arcade. They've got 4 players over toward the A site. Bit of re-aggression now. Could bring them unstuck. TJP is watching for it. Hasn't seen anything just yet. But now spots out Foggers, and the trade attempt is not a very good one in the end. TJP gets 2. Rooster now have the go signal into the A site. Let's see what Triplus can do. If he can hold on to much more than 1, it would be nice. Doesn't look like that's going to happen, and so it's going to be a decisive round for Rooster.
Was down on triple. See if Void can make this expensive. ASAP low here. Famous on a headshot angle. Going to be difficult to be effective against the AK at that range. T starting to at the site through connector, wanting to keep guns up and keep that T-side money very healthy if possible. And honestly, it'd be good for Void to survive here. There's no loss bonus for the CT side. So a drop to Floggers will be very necessary if they do want to try and go for some kind of force in the next round. But I'm not even sure it's worth it, to be honest. 1,400 loss bonus, 3.7 and 3.4 for Super and Versa. I mean, you could try and buy here. And it would be decent, you know, we're talking about 3 rifles, Famous armor, or MP9 armor, and decent utility. So it might be worth a crack, but I could also see the argument for the single safe here and just a half buy.
Looks like it's going to be the force buy. Arcade will back themselves, and after the last map, you don't necessarily blame them for that. So again, util out into mid from Rooster, this time on and window. But they've got some trouble. Versa just decides to take the peek as the window smoke pops. Gets himself an opening frag onto TJP, who I'm sure is not happy with that. Has given Arcade a bit of a chance into this round, but they really don't have a lot of util at all. So it's actually quite imperative that they do have that numbers advantage.
I like the positions that they've got. You've got like 2 players playing swing positions. The player in the middle of the map playing very safe. They're giving up middle. But they've kind of got 2 bait setups, right? Sandwich and Balk. And then you've got the site anchors kind of baiting and hoping play the hard crossfire. So especially with the numbers advantage and very limited util. And by limited, I mean literally none. I like the approach for Arcade.
Got to make a lot out of a little. And they are, so far. That's a good shot from Super. Got a nice setup on this B side as well. Void's not going to be tempted out by any of that util, and perfectly timed peek with the FAMAS gets himself 2. Danger, the only man surviving for Rooster at the moment. And he will be unlikely to make any inroads happen here. This is exactly the kind of round to get Arcade back into the swing of things.
And again, it feels like Arcade, they're playing with the fire and the drive to win right now. And Rooster are meeting that with what feels like complacency, you know? I'm not really seeing any kind of... through the kitchen wall. Very low for Danger. Almost goes down. But will save the AK at the end of the round. 1,700 in the bank account. 2 players can force AKs here. And it is Rooster, so possibilities of a buy are always there, let's be real. But, wow, Arcade, after winning that round, pick up 4 AKs and keep 4 players surviving. That is fantastic. And although the force is coming out for Rooster, the reset potential is only really soft reset potential, you know? Like, worst soft player is going to be Tri Plus on 1,400, but everyone else can probably keep the single save and be just fine. Rooster now preparing this A execute. Did go for something similar to this with an underpass lurk in the pistol round. This time a bit more of a straight up approach. Foggers to play retake.
Lots of util out over onto the A site. Foggers will dump a flash over the top, see what he can do with it. The Tri Plus is going to push through the smoke. He was spotted out by ASAP. Foggers unable to get anything done either, so it's gone from good to bad for Arcade, unfortunately. Stringing a couple of rounds together, looks like it will be somewhat of a challenge. First, hanging around. Super catches TJP. If there were to be one more kill here from Versa, maybe things would get interesting. It's a good trade, though, from ASAP, who sacrifices a lot of his HP for it. Smoke into Palace from Arcade. They're thinking about going for the retake here, and that nade onto ASAP is going to incentivize them to go forward, but they are ending up using the vast majority of their guns here in the attempt to make their way back into A.
We're just going to save the rifle. Slimy giving chase, but only to pick up the AK. Chelios, not sure if he'll be able to find a rifle that far back in towards ramp side, so he might have just to continue with the scout into the next round. It's not ideal. I think Rooster, after winning that round, would have liked to get through it much more cleanly, considering the fact that ASAP pretty much cracks open that side self-sufficiently. What to do now for Arcade? Tri-plus, double eco. Does seem like they're just going to save. But realistically, Rooster were quite poor here and minimum loss bonus. There was an argument to try and force and break the T-side money here. Looking like we had a massive, a bit of a comeback from Mindfreak beat Vantage over in one of the other games. Saw Vantage were leading for quite a bit, but Mindfreak just ekes that one out 13-11.
Yeah, I was sort of expecting that one to be an interesting map. How did the new guys go? Ricky and Tux at the top of the scoreboard.
I think statistically, Ricky and Texter have been the best players
Interesting.
on Mindfreak when I watched them and looking at the stats. And Texter in particular, going into the games that I watched, had something like a 1.5 rating or something over 5 or 6 maps.
Yeah, I'd actually be keen to watch a Mindfreak game now with those two guys in. Not that I wasn't before, but it's kind of cool to see Texter back. I wonder if that's going to be a long-term thing or if he's just sort of having a bit of a crack. Ricky as well. You know, how long is that going to last, given that he's definitely in the twilight stage of his career?
Yeah. He's still playing well in Oceania, though. Like, his numbers are never bad in those.
Yeah.
And in the role that he's in, you know, he's not expected to be a superstar or anything. Like, he's basically playing a rifling role and playing on the wing a lot, I think.
Ricky?
Yeah. Pain Zorping.
Pain Zorping? Okay, yeah, true. That makes sense.
They do double AWP, though.
I always thought Ricky was pretty handy with the rifle anyway.
Well, I don't think he's been a primary AWPer on any of the teams he's been playing in for a while. Like, the last teams that he was playing on, he was rifling.
Right.
So I think he's just continued to keep rifling.
Alright, well, Arcade have got themselves another bite here. It's very much hanging in the balance. Ends up with a 1-for-1. Isn't going to be enough to crack open mid this time around. Rooster have, for the majority of this half, actually been the team to hold on to mid. But right now, it's kind of no man's land.
Yeah. Arcade and Rooster both kind of with a hands-off approach to middle. Seeing players committed more so to the extremities. You can see Arcade with the soft crossfire over middle between connector and catwalk, but as this pressure comes in on the extremity, gonna have the two CTs still committed to this jail pillar crossfire, but with nothing committing out there. Didn't pull much of a rotation. Oh, Foggers, if he doubled up there, that could have been route defining. As it stands, though, it's a weird position. Slimy barely clinging to the A site, and the bomb nowhere near in position. Arcade still have chances here.
Yeah, they do. This kill would be a critical one. Slimy, though, slip away behind that piece of cover. It's another one of those rounds where Arcade, they could make the choice to save their weapons right now. But they're going to go for it, and they may well be rewarded as well. TJP goes down early. Definitely in with a chance now. Super the man to keep an eye on. He's got the kit, which is now going to be on the floor. Nice angle from Chell to find a cheeky kill. It'll smoke off connector, but that's not where the danger is going to be lurking. And so, in the end, Rooster are going to go up another, and they are starting to take control of this half slowly but surely.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was alluding to on Nuke, right? Like, they had a shocking first half, let's be real, and Super had an incredible game. Don't get me wrong. But the way that second half was looking was not necessarily like Arcade dominating, right? And I think that's what you're starting to see. Especially like Arcade, I feel like on the CT side are not the same beast as on the T side. I feel like T side, they usually have pretty good direction, pretty good strats, and they can hide some of their firepower issues with the proactivity and the structure you can play with on the T side, right? But CT, when you have to multi-frag and hold your position consistently, you know, that's where you're going to expect Rooster to start to expose some of the weaknesses.
Yeah, I don't know about this one for Arcade. Do have Fogger set up in a ramp. And if he could grab a couple of kills, maybe drop the bomb carrier, it would be an interesting story, but that won't be the case. And so Rooster seem to be battling their way pretty comfortably into A at the moment. Try Plus not even opting to take a peek through that smoke, so this will be 5. I mean, the longer the game goes on, from even going from map 1 to map 2, the better it starts to look for Rooster. It's just a bit of a shame that, you know, it's not a best of 3 full. But they had an awful start on Nuke. They were not able to do anything there, and
yeah,
okay, kind of got their reward for that, but don't know that they're going to quite get the 2-0 tonight.
I mean, you got to look at it for what it is. Like, how often does Super go 13-0, and how often does no one on Rooster like rock up in the server and actually shoot back?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened. And those two things happening in tandem is even more unlikely. So I think we're coming back to reality here a little bit. Not the buy round for Arcade, though. Orps out for Versa. They have some good players, like, you know, but they have some... The thing is, I feel like they have inconsistent players, right? Like, I think that I've always looked at Versa and Super as being... Super's a bit more on the consistent side. We'll hold that ball. The Palace Pop's coming out and Triplus gets absolutely decked. It's the Bath Bros right now. Like, TJ and ASAP are in entry mode on the inside of Mirage, and when they're feeling themselves, you ain't holding sight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit rough. But again, I think you have to go away from this if you're Arcade right now and sort of say, well, we got a map win on Nuke, which was not necessarily expected. Even if we go 1-1 here and we kind of get a little bit dumpstered on Mirage, which again, I'm not necessarily implying it's going to be the case, but Rooster slowly but surely looking better and better. You still kind of walk away from that one happy, I would assume.
Boy just dies to a molly. Exits from Super and offer for the economic damage, but the net is closing in. Spray from Slimy. Oh, actually, Slimy goes down to the molly and finished off by Super. But Rooster still picking up a very convincing round, and it feels like they are primarily coming off the back of some very, very solid entry work. TJ and ASAP are being the crowbars they need to get into these solid situations, just prying things open.
Maybe an attempt toward the B side of the map at this Rooster. Honestly, haven't half-minded the fast rounds they've been pulling out on A, and if they were to do so again on B, poor old Void, I don't give him much of a chance with the Deagle. Well, he's going to force him out of position as well, and there goes Rooster. TJP in for the entry and making it look pretty easy. Finds himself a double. That will be another round for Rooster.
I mean, that's what the opening of the round has looked like every single round so far. It's felt like. You just look at the kill feed, and TJP and ASAP are finding openers in the first 15 to 20 seconds. And from there, it's just kind of rudimentary for the rest of Rooster to close out the round. Unless Arcade can win some of these opening duels convincingly, like get an early multi-frag in and you're not just like losing duels or going 1-for-onesies, it's just going to continue to look like this.
Run it back. see what Arcade can do. Whether or not they're going to be able to stop this onslaught from Rooster, who once again just tossed a fair bit of util into mid. They do like that. Try Plus ends up going 1-for-1. It's better than it has been for Arcade so far. They're going to have to try to recontest in toward middle. Meanwhile, a lot of noise being made over toward A, but nothing doing on that side of the map at the moment.
Foggers playing close in the swing position. Super. It's a good pick middle. TJ and ASAP down, so they've actually gotten a bit of the firepower and the entry work out of the equation. Where the rest of Rooster are going to have to activate, try to pick up the pieces. That's a good frag from Danger. Pulls some attention away from the connect alert coming up on in here from Slimy. He could be a big playmaker, but super well aware that Jungler's compromised right now and not making any moves through the murder hole.
Slimy has found himself a very cheeky position here, and he is almost certainly going to get away with 2 kills as a result of it. Holding the trigger finger quite nicely. He's spotted the rifler out as well. Super's gone on a bit of a wander, so he hasn't gone far enough. I wondered maybe if he would go far enough that potentially he'd be safe from the shots from Slimy, but ends up lining them both up, and that's going to be another round for Rooster. So even when it starts to look a little bit doable for Arcade, Rooster are able to pull the round back, and it will end up being 8-3 with another round to come in the half, but not feeling too confident for Arcade at the moment.
Definitely not. Void gonna see if he can save into the last round of the half and drop over a rifle to somebody else, but that's about where the good news ends. It's been a much better game for Rooster, and this is the level that you expect from them. You know, they've been a top 3 team in Australia for the last, I don't even know, what, 2-3 years?
Yep, I'd say so.
To see them drop off from that position in these circumstances would be very surprising. I mean, they've had some weird results lately after losing one of their longest standing members, but this is the form that we expect. This is the standard that we set for Rooster.
100%, and they did not live up to that in the last map, but they are reminding us exactly why they are deserving of being part of that conversation as much as they have been. Well, off we go into the final round of the half, and we'll see if Arcade can maybe put together one more. 8-4. It would give you something to play with in the second if you are confident about your T side. It's not going to be a slow round at all, though. Rooster are charging their way in through apartments. It's not too shabby either, as TJP and Danger combine for an entry apiece. The rotations come through quickly. Util doing a lot of work here for Arcade, but it doesn't seem to be enough to hold on to the site, and some missed shots will give Arcade a pretty hefty deficit. Try plus solo can't get it done. 9-3 at the half for Rooster. So, 9-3. Try plus maybe having some technical difficulties as we get back into the second half. We might have a little bit of a wait here. But it's been a nice resurgence from Rooster, it has to be said. Went a little bit missing in that first game, but seem to be right back on the wagon nicely now. And sort of upholding their end of the bargain, which is a little bit what we would like to see.
Okay, gonna need another pistol and a hell of a T-side though to make this as competitive. I mean, less competitive, let's be real, than Nuke, because Nuke was a bit of a one-sided affair. After a round reset, we should be good to go. Not sure what happened with Tri Plus there, but seems to be back in the server now. Arcade have been 3 from 3 pistols so far tonight, so a fourth pistol would of course do them a lot of favors. Looking like house bets are up against Art of War yet again. Still waiting for the rest of the other games to start.
Yeah, well, either way, we can crack on into things here for the second half of our game. Rooster looking to close it out. If they get the pistol, might just be the nail in the coffin for Arcade, but again, not a bad night for Arcade considering they did pick things up on map 1. A couple of players over toward B this time for Rooster with the offense happening on A. It's going to come down to Chell and Slimy to make something happen. 2 sets of smokes is going to be information immediately, and that might start to inform the rotates of Rooster. You can see Danger thinking about rotating his way across. He'll now have to start coming as the information is going to be given by Chell. Slimy waiting patiently for Foggers. Takes his head off. ASAP's gone down in the meanwhile, and then Slimy falls as well. So it's not a perfect hold from Rooster as well, considering the bomb plant now on the floor for Void. Arcade not getting away with nothing in the pistol, but may still not yet be getting the round. Versa struggling to double down. TJP with the dualies, unable to actually close it out here. Leaves Danger solo. And Tri Plus, he's just going to hold and maybe take the fight. This defuse on offer for Danger, but it would have to be a 10-second defuse, which will be fine because he's hit the shot through the smoke and will win the pistol for Rooster.
Yeah. 4 kills though for Arcade and a bomb plant, so this second round bye going to be looking pretty fearsome, I would say, coming out for Arcade here. Rooster not taking anything for granted though. M4s across the board, at least initially. Maybe considering if they have some better options here, but yeah, it's 5 rifle regardless. Coming out, whether you go down to FAMAS or not. Same can be said, can't be said rather, for Arcade. Got Galil's out, Scout and a Deagle. Very limited util. Smoke goes out to top middle. Tri Plus gonna look to apply some pressure towards middle. Super looking for some spotting on B apps and then creeping towards underpass. Bomb left in spawn though, and I'm not sure who's gonna get that looking at the Arcade setup right now.
TJP not having a great time with that fight from stairs. Molly will deny him the opportunity to go for it one more time. Never mind. It was the molly for stairs, for sandwich instead, and Foggers will take TJ's head off. So he might have been a little bit happier if he didn't re-peek and take that fight.
Now Super starting to try to activate in from underpass, set up by a flash thrown from top mid by Tri Plus. They're still looking for some kind of aggression to be punished in middle of Rooster. Heavily mobilizing around this part of the map. M4 juggled over to Danger for some better firepower. But no aggression into middle. Although Rooster playing quite centralized, they're not actually looking for duels in this part of the map, just looking to play off angles, and that works out well for them. ASAP punishes that connector push. The swing on window is perfectly timed. And this man advantage situation is quickly falling apart for Arcade now.
Yeah, that was really nice from Rooster, wasn't it? Just 3 players ready to fight middle at a moment's notice, all from different angles, and ASAP then Danger able to open the account. Shell then doesn't really have to worry about mid anymore, so All worked perfectly for Rooster, and it'll have to be a save now for Arcade, which will put Rooster on map point. It's been a very different game of Counter-Strike here on map 2 than what we saw on map 1. Which is sometimes the way of things in ESL Challenger League. It tends to just go back and forth.
Eagles out for Arcade. See if they can give themselves an outside shot at winning this round. And I have to say, it probably would take a Deagle upset here to win this game for Arcade. And even then, it's still probably not favoured for them, regardless of the fact they have the reset potential. But it's kind of a fruitless argument right now because they're getting picked apart across the map. The A1s are proving to be more effective. And Rooster continuing to play with confidence. Going to shut this down without a single kill from Arcade, it's looking like. Oh, the RNG was bullshit.
Yeah, well, take it as it comes.
Start spamming away and plucks 2 heads. I suppose when there's 4 on offer, all in a line, then, you know, the fact that you're able to hit another one is something. Oh, looking like this might be the first gun round and maybe the last gun round that Arcade gets on the T side here.
Yep. It'd be like that sometimes. Smokes over the top into window, but Rooster are not interested in that at all. They're going to push their way forward. Try plus wise to those tricks to just spam through progression smoke and catch TJP. So maybe you spoke too soon. Maybe there's still something more left in this one for Arcade.
Yeah, but I mean, similar to Rooster on the T side of Nuke, like they've got not enough room for error to make this a winnable map for them. Like even if their T side looks amazing, which usually their Arcade T sides are pretty good, and actually in the local land that the core 3 of this team played, their T sides looked much better than their CT side looked like as well. I think they had like an 8-1 start on the T side. But when you don't give yourself any room to play with, it doesn't really matter, unfortunately. You're playing for round diff in round robin at this point. And let's be real, playing for practice. These BO2 nights are a good chance to test yourself on maps that both teams should be pretty comfortable on. See how you go.
Oh, super. His timing, not quite perfect. Will alert Danger to the problems, and so he's actually going to be able to do more than just 1 or 2. That's actually quite a nice round being put together by Danger, and maybe there's still a round left in this one for Rooster. 2-on-1 now for Void. He's gone over into CT spawn. He's only got 18 seconds here, so he's not really going to be afforded the opportunity to go over to B. Both the mollies do fizzle in the smoke, which will allow the bomb plant, but it doesn't last long. The excitement for Arcade. That's 13-3 for Rooster as they finish things off in much the same fashion as it was done by Arcade on map 1. That's that. Very back and forth night, let's just say. It was a very one-sided map 1, very one-sided map 2. Both teams taking some points away from that, but again, looking at it from Rooster's perspective, probably a little bit disappointing, and looking at it from Arcade's perspective, yeah, probably pretty happy.
Yeah, I think Arcade, at least for their efforts tonight, put